unequal Nigeria, environment and development, the semi-deserts and the Niger Delta in perspective. So if I'm doing something Mr. President did, who knows, maybe when I grow up, I will be like him. Let me tell us that my title is Rethinking the Transformation Agenda from the Cultural Perspective, the Imperatives of the Media. Incidentally, the letter I got was Rethinking the Reformation Agenda and the Nigerian mass media. And I've decided to change it to what we have here, because I have a little idea of the transformation agenda. Now, the submissions I've made here is that there has to be adequate funding, equipment, nice pay for media professionals, good program planning, a conducive environment for the practice of journalism, and intersectoral partnerships, among others. As we go on, we are going to look at them briefly. But well, I am very, very time conscious. As an artist, we deal on time. We are always conscious. And I want to assure you that in 40 minutes, I will be done so that other things can follow. Now, I started by looking at the Nigerian nation. We all know what Nigeria looks like, a geopolitical entity in the West African sub-region, a landmass of about 923,733 square kilometers, occupies the eastern part of the west coast of Africa. Nigeria is bordered on the north by the Sahara, the south by the Gulf of Guinea, that's the Atlantic Ocean, Cameroon to the east, Benin Republic to the west, and it's one of the most populous countries in the continent. About 160 million, we are told. But without if our brothers and sisters in the fishing camps were counted at all. So we know very well that we are by far more than that. And of course, we are told that about 110 million of these persons are living below the poverty line. Incidentally, Nigeria has seen 15 leaders. We took time to take, a study of the leaders. You are seeing Azikiwe, you are seeing Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, JTU Aguiyi-Ironsi, General Yakubu Gowon, Murtala Mohammed, Olusegun Obasanjo, then a general, Alhaji Shehu Aliu Shagari, then up to Major General Muhammadu Buhari, General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, alias IBB, Chief Ernest Shonekan, the how do I put it, the shortest duration he served as interim head of the government. Then General Sani Abacha, General Abdul Salam Abubakar, then back to Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, Alhaji Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, and of course the incumbent, our own brother, Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. I have not bothered to tell us the dates, they are just there for the record. Now, you see that the country depended on agriculture as an independence. But when oil was discovered in commercial quantity in our own Oloibiri here in Bayelsa State, agricultural sector was abandoned. There was over-dependence on oil, and Nigeria became a mono economy and a beggarly nation. To the extent that as of June 2005, Nigerians celebrated an 18 billion debt release from the Paris club. Those of us who were, very much conscious of this will attest to that. But then, coming down to our own study, we have observed that every head of state has come out with one form of program or the other towards developing the country. For example, Gowon came out with to keep Nigeria one is a task that must be done. Then go on with one Nigeria. It's a little typographical error there. Go on with one Nigeria. Obasanjo came with OFN, Operation Feed the Nation. Buhari came with war against indiscipline. Why? And of course, Yar'Adua came with the 7-point agenda. The interesting thing is that all these were aimed at, growing the economy, making the country a better place to live. And it is on record that on May 29, 2011, when President Goodluck Jonathan assumed office, he reeled out his own transformation agenda. Remember, before now, we had Vision 2010. Am I right? Okay. Then it was shifted to 2015. Now we are talking about 2020. The idea is for Nigeria to be one of the top economies in the world by year 2020. A Herculean task, you will say. And of course, Mr. President, conscious of that, raised a team of 28 technocrats under his own, chairmanship, and of course being coordinated by the Honorable Minister of Finance, that is Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. Now, the springboard of the transformation agenda, we are trying to do that so that we understand what we expect from the press. The key sectors, government identified key sectors that the transformation agenda should rest on: security, infrastructure, including power, agriculture, manufacturing, housing, entertainment, education, health, and ICT. These are the sectors that have been identified. And the agenda places premium on the concept of independence of the judiciary, the National Assembly, and INEC. That is, government not interfering with the functioning of these arms of government. Now, it is believed that the transformation agenda presents great opportunities for institutional renewal and performance. And that is why it emphasizes that MDAs, that is ministries, departments, and agencies, must deliver intended products, services, and programs. And it has come out with key performance indexes to ensure that Nigerians really benefit from the dividends of democracy. And Mr. President started by signing performance agreements with the ministers. The ministers in turn signed performance agreements with the permanent secretaries and the chief executives of the parastatals. And it's expected that the chief executive, the permanent secretaries, and the chief executives will in turn sign performance agreements with their directors. But then, what are the challenges of the transformation agenda? We have issues like bad governance, lack of accountability, corruption that has risen to an endemic level, insecurity, a parasitic public service, poor development initiatives, and lack of synergy between politicians and public servants. Because once a politician comes into office, he is thinking of politics. He is thinking of his next election. So it is very, very difficult for you to say, this thing has to follow due process, this has to go this way. You say, no way, I have election coming and I have my people to take care of. Those are some of the challenges that face any agenda. It may be transformation agenda, it may be restoration agenda. There are challenges. We may wish to look at this vis-a-vis the restoration agenda. Now we go forward to what the place of the media in all of this. Because how do people get to know what is happening in government? Because when people are not aware of the functioning of government, it gives room for what you may call rumor. It gives room for idle talks. And the media has a critical role to play in this. And that is why James Watson said, increasingly the media have found themselves positioned at the heart of cultural, social, political, and political content. And this content both influence media performance and are influenced by it. The media are part of trends, responsive to them, and often instrumental to publicizing, and therefore influencing the direction and extent of such trends. If the media will not give due attention to policies and programs of any administration, then there's no way the administration will reach out to the government. Now, in looking at this, we attempted to look at the cultural background under which the media, will be operating, or the media organs are operating in Nigeria. We are told that we have, more than 400 ethnic groups. You know what that means? Even in Bayelsa, I don't think somebody can authoritatively say, oh, we have 10 or we have 15 ethnic groups in Bayelsa because of the dialectical differences. But one thing is clear. One strong point is our unity in cultural diversity. And the thinking is that if we exploit our rich cultural heritage, our languages, our traditions, festivals, artifacts, cultural and tourism sites, the African continent, and indeed the whole world will have a lot to learn from Nigeria. But unfortunately, unlike the Asian tigers, like China, Japan, South Korea, we are not exploiting these strong or these strengths to use them to be of advantage to us.